A sinister castle looms over the world, signaling that humanity's judgment has begun again. A young hero grits his teeth in anguish, questioning the cruel fate that demands he save everyone from extinction. A smirking, horned demon lord lounges on his throne, amused by this repetitive cycle of mortal struggle. He gazes down from his seat of skulls, dismissing the humans below as utterly insignificant. The hero stands silently before the throne, his back straight and a simple sword clutched in his hand. He explodes with righteous fury, insisting he did everything possible, only for the demon to challenge his claim. His companions look on, shocked, as the hero reels from the demon's piercing question. The scene shifts to a flashback, revealing the hero in a tense standoff with a former ally. A woman looks on with a grim expression as the betrayed man questions why he was the one to be sacrificed. The hero desperately tries to justify his past actions, claiming he had no choice but to make a terrible sacrifice. The woman's cold voice cuts through the tension, demanding he face the truth. She presses him, questioning if his truth is just a convenient lie he tells himself. The memory warps into a fiery ruin, where his own teacher stands before him like an executioner. His former ally Gonyuk leans in close, his words a chilling promise of what's to come. Gonyuk condemns him, sealing his fate with a grim prophecy of a fall from grace. The full scope of the sacrifice is revealed, the hero and his companions surrounded by a horde of the damned. The fallen souls, once his comrades, now glare with glowing eyes, wishing him an eternity of suffering. But the hero refuses to break, roaring back at the ghosts of his past and challenging their hypocrisy. His defiant gaze then shifts, locking onto another key figure from that tragic day. With a look of utter betrayal, he finally confronts the one he once called Big Brother. His gaze shifts from his fallen brother to another key figure from that day, Yonsi. She turns away, her thoughts revealing a hidden connection to the very man he just condemned. He stumbles forward in a panic, desperately reaching for her as the memory crumbles around him. Her face remains a mask of cold indifference, offering neither comfort nor explanation. A bead of sweat rolls down his face as the full weight of his past decisions finally crashes down. The damned souls drag him down, their whispers damning Gonyuk as he watches her abandon them all. He can only watch her leave, his heart breaking for the big brother who had placed all his faith in her. He thrashes against the ghosts of his comrades, frantically insisting this was never the outcome he wanted. His hand reaches out from the abyss, a final desperate plea as he's consumed by his guilt. A faint voice cuts through the nightmare, calling his name and pulling him from the depths of his memory. He jolts awake in his bed, a voice pulling him from the nightmare of his past. Sweat drips down his face as he's informed that the inspection preparations are now complete. The scene shifts to a grim, high-security facility, hinting at a fragile and controlled peace. Now in a sharp suit, he walks with researchers discussing the rising number of contained hunters. A scientist quickly apologizes for a verbal misstep, revealing the tense atmosphere surrounding him. His gaze lingers on a cell as they mention a powerful figure named Sigmund, who could have saved everyone. A flashback reveals the terrible choice they made, sacrificing one powerful being to prevent humanity's doom. He calmly agrees with the grim logic, his expression unreadable and detached. Turning away, he coolly authorizes the expansion of the containment facility, making a heavy decision. Once he's gone, the researchers sigh in relief, admitting he's far more difficult to handle than they expected. One researcher asks his colleague if this was his first time meeting the man in charge. He admits the hero's back view doesn't match the legendary figure who conquered Babel. A female researcher agrees, finding his cold demeanor far from the heroic image she expected. A senior colleague interjects, crediting the hero's resolute attitude for humanity's survival. He explains that the hero was the one who saved everyone when other hunters' minds began to break. Their discussion is cut short by a sudden piercing scream from one of the containment cells. The hero smirks, surrounded by a sinister aura, his thoughts turning to the imprisoned Sigmund. An aide rushes in frantically, demanding to know the source of the commotion. He urgently delivers shocking news concerning Yonsi, catching the hero completely off guard. The hero's composure shatters as he desperately demands to know what has happened to her. The aide reports catastrophic corruption spreading across America, with red error alerts flashing everywhere. As the corruption threatens to cross the ocean, his subordinates desperately plead for his command. The hero is paralyzed by regret, realizing his brief hesitation has led to this global disaster. Shaking off his shock, he turns to leave, announcing his intention to handle the crisis personally. His eyes burn with cold fury, understanding that the fate of all humanity now rests on his shoulders. The scene shifts to a tragic memory, showing Yonsi grievously wounded and leaning against him. He holds her close, his voice filled with anguish as he whispers her name. She looks up at him, her life fading as she addresses him with a familial title. In a desolate landscape of bones, she confesses her unwavering faith in him before collapsing in his arms. A single tear escapes his eye as he cradles her, thanking her for her final, heartbreaking words. He holds her amidst the city's ruins, whispering her name in despair. With her final breath, she confesses her love, her hand clutching his suit. A bittersweet smile crosses his face as he accepts her final heartfelt words. As he cradles her, a blinding light descends from the heavens, signaling a world-altering event. He grips his sword, a single tear marking his resolve to prevent humanity's extinction. The world itself issues a bloody ultimatum: find a way to survive or face the consequences. The memory shifts again, showing him launching a desperate assault on the Demon Lord's tower, Babel. He clashes mid-air with a powerful red-haired adversary descending upon him. The enemy cackles with glee, proclaiming the end of everything as he overpowers the hero. This final foe is revealed to be the tyrant of the 12 divine seats, humanity's last and strongest hunter. The tyrant vows to steal the hero's power, his face twisted with greed. He slams the hero into the ground with overwhelming force, intent on making his power his own. A blinding pillar of light erupts from the impact, shaking the tower to its core. Debris scatters across the floor as the dust from the devastating blow begins to settle. The grim aftermath is clear as fresh blood stains the cold stone tiles. Suddenly, a brilliant golden light cuts through the gloom, revealing a figure with flowing blonde hair. Yonsi stands defiant, gathering radiant energy in her hand for a counterattack. The tyrant turns in surprise, realizing he isn't the only one left standing. He scoffs at her presence, dismissing her as a trivial threat now that the hero is down. Undeterred, she invokes a powerful ability, ready to challenge his arrogant assumption. In a shocking twist, the hero appears behind the tyrant, piercing him with a blade. The tyrant reels in disbelief, unable to comprehend how the hero is still standing. With a confident smirk, the hero chides his foe for his predictable carelessness. The tyrant scoffs, insisting such a minor injury won't be enough to stop him. His arrogance fades as a sudden surge of energy catches him completely off guard. He looks down to find himself trapped within a glowing magic circle he never saw coming. Unbreakable chains of legend Gleipnir burst forth from the ground to ensnare him. The mighty tyrant struggles furiously, finding himself completely bound by the magical restraints. The hero reveals his true power, summoning the divine avatar of Zeus to loom over the battlefield. Enraged by this defiance, the tyrant questions the hero's audacity, only to be met with a look of utter contempt. With a condescending smirk, the hero reveals he's already defeated this so-called demon lord 6 times. A blinding flash of golden light signals the final, overwhelming judgment. The tyrant roars in agony as the divine chains and holy energy completely consume him. A colossal explosion of power obliterates the foe, shaking the tower to its core. Unfazed by the cataclysm, the hero calmly reaches into his pocket for a cigarette. He lights up, taking a slow drag as the dust settles from his decisive victory. Glancing at the defeated foe, he casually remarks on the unnecessary trouble the tyrant caused. He turns to Yonsi, coolly complimenting the perfectly timed shield that made their plan work. The memory shifts to a tear-streaked face, a former comrade questioning their misplaced faith in him. The tragic scene unfolds, showing them standing over their fallen allies who demand to know why they weren't protected. Tears stream down her face as she confronts him, asking if his ambition to defeat the demon lord alone was worth the cost. In response to her grief, he simply takes a slow drag from his cigarette, a smirk playing on his lips. The truth is revealed: he has regressed 13 times, and each attempt ended in failure. And the inevitable end to every single one of those timelines was total destruction. Victory against the Demon Lord proved just as catastrophic as defeat, always leading to the world's ruin. The cause of this inevitable doom was a devastating war between the superpowered hunters and the rest of humanity. Some hunters, driven by a twisted vision of paradise, attempted to fuse all of humanity's consciousness into one. This horrifying plan was the work of hunters who had descended into complete madness. Meanwhile, other hunters were shattered by the trauma of constant battle, confined to asylums with broken minds. Then there were those whose immense powers went berserk, turning them into fugitives hunted by their own kind. Even elderly hunters and child soldiers were caught in the cycle, their sacrifices only fueling the chaos. He realized that no matter how he saved the world, it was always doomed to meet the same destructive end. His cigarette falls to the ground, a symbol of his old self being cast aside for a new, terrible resolve. He confronts Yonsi, declaring his new mission, to eliminate not just demons, but every hunter who threatened the future. His grip tightens on his sword, the weight of his horrifying decision settling in his hand. His chilling conclusion echoes in the silence. He would have to eliminate every single one of them. Yonsi's eyes widen in disbelief, the true horror of his words finally dawning on her. Before she can react, a flash of steel cuts through the air, a betrayal delivered with shocking speed. His eyes glow with an icy blue light, all traces of the hero she once knew completely gone. He turns away, his face a mask of cold determination, having just crossed a line from which there is no return. The tyrant seethes with rage, questioning how a mere brat with such limited power could dare to challenge him. His glowing eye narrows, filled with disbelief at the hero's audacity to think he could win. He unleashes a cataclysmic blast of dark energy, engulfing the hero in a storm of destruction. A shadowy tendril sharp as a spear shoots forward with lethal speed. The hero braces for impact, his own power flaring as he prepares to meet the attack head-on. The tyrant's attack finds its mark, piercing the hero in a devastating display of force. Wounded and bleeding, the hero staggers back from the brutal counterattack. The tyrant scoffs at the hero's past victories, but the hero reveals this time he eliminated the hunters first to ensure his win. He realizes his current power is lacking, questioning if giving up the divine spear Longinus was a fatal mistake. As the hero considers other lost powers, the tyrant is stunned, demanding to know how he possesses such forbidden knowledge. The hero smirks through the blood, reminding his foe of his 6 previous defeats. He stares down the tyrant, confidently declaring this fight is already over. The tyrant laughs, finding the hero's unwavering spirit amusing to the very end. But his amusement turns to fury as he unleashes a final devastating wave of dark power. The hero lowers his head, a grim acceptance settling over his blood-stained features. With a weary smile, he agrees to end the cycle, just as his enemy wishes. His hand begins to glow with a faint, ominous energy as he prepares his own final move. He roars with newfound resolve, vowing to destroy both demons and hunters to finally break his curse. The scene shifts to a new year, a dark omen swirling in the night sky. The demon lord reappears over a modern city, promising to plunge the world into a whirlpool of terror. A colossal demon's face fills the sky, promising to bring extinction to the dimension and make humanity suffer. A cataclysmic wave of energy erupts, engulfing the entire planet in a crimson tide of destruction. From the point of impact, a sinister red light emanates from a newly formed chasm in the earth. This single event simultaneously creates 2,888 dungeons, scattering them across the globe. From these rifts, endless hordes of monstrous creatures begin their relentless march upon the world. Humanity's armies mobilize, but the soldiers on the front lines are visibly terrified and uncertain. Despite their fear, they receive the order to fire, unleashing a barrage of explosives at the invading forces. Their conventional weapons prove useless, deflecting harmlessly off the monsters' tough hides. The creatures easily break through the human defenses, causing chaos and forcing a desperate retreat. With their military might rendered obsolete, humanity's front lines collapse, leaving them with no escape from the onslaught. A terrified soldier screams as a hulking golem prepares to crush him. But just as despair sets in, a mysterious warrior descends, striking the beast down. As humanity teetered on the brink of annihilation, a new kind of soldier emerged. These were the hunters, individuals who could summon powerful avatars to fight. These avatars, ranging from gods to legendary heroes, were manifestations of a hunter's inner power. With these newfound powers, humanity finally launched its counterattack, pushing back the invaders. But just as they thought they had secured a victory, their reality was shattered by an unbelievable revelation. A system window flashes before them, declaring the brutal war was merely a tutorial. The horrifying truth dawns on them. This was only the beginning of their nightmare. His face contorts in pure terror, unable to accept that the real fight was yet to come. A brilliant light flashes before the stunned hunters, signaling a new development. The weary survivors look up as a powerful voice addresses all of humanity. A divine being, Archangel Metatron, descends, revealing she can no longer hold back the invaders alone. She formally requests their assistance, her expression conveying the gravity of the situation. The mission is laid bare. Ascend the Tower of Babel and defeat the demon lord at its peak. A grim ultimatum is given. They have 20 years to succeed, or their entire dimension faces annihilation. But Metatron offers a sliver of hope, promising that hunters can achieve limitless power within the tower. She pledges the full support of the gods, assuring the hunters they will not fight this battle alone. With a final blessing, the divine message concludes, leaving humanity with its new, daunting purpose. The scene cuts to the harsh reality of the fight, where a hunter desperately reports their attacks are useless against a monstrous foe. A frustrated hunter unleashes a volley of magic, yelling at his comrade to block before their rear guard is wiped out. Panic spreads as a colossal, shadowy beast descends, forcing the terrified hunters to scatter. A young hunter screams in defiance, refusing to accept his fate as a beast lunges from the shadows. In a moment of sheer desperation, a strange power awakens within him, his eyes glowing with purple light. He plants his foot firmly on the ground, shattering the stone beneath him as he takes a stand. But his newfound resolve is short-lived as he's sent flying backward through the air. He tumbles helplessly, his body limp as he falls from the battlefield. Just before he hits the ground, a mysterious figure grabs him by the collar, a cigarette held casually in his hand. With a flick of his wrist, the newcomer effortlessly sends the massive beast flying, annoyed by the interruption. His companions can only stare in disbelief, stunned by the sudden and overwhelming display of power. The enraged beast glares, its red eye burning with fury after being so easily dismissed. Meanwhile, the other hunters are in disarray, scattering in terror from the monster's rampage. The hero Chu Gon-hyuk smirks from the ground, a caption revealing this is his 13th regression. The young hunter he just saved lies dazed on the ground, still processing the sudden rescue. Gon-hyuk casually thanks the fallen hunter for unintentionally drawing the monster's attention. He then summons a futuristic avatar, ordering it to analyze the current battlefield. As he prepares to depart, a new squad of hunters finally arrives, late to the fight. The newcomers are shocked to see him sitting idly by, questioning his inaction as they report their own losses. A blonde-haired woman in the group looks on with intrigue, recognizing him from a past encounter. He confirms her unspoken question with a smirk, pulling out a familiar pack of cigarettes. He calmly lights a cigarette, the flame flickering as he prepares for the fight ahead. With a satisfied smirk, he confirms that this is exactly where he wants to be after a regression. He takes a thoughtful drag, studying the holographic data screens that have appeared before him. The system identifies the boss as a berserk minotaur, and he quickly assesses the strength of his allies, including Yonsi. A worried Yonsi appears by his side, calling out to him with a familial title. She urgently tells him to fall back to the rear, her profile identifying her as a 19-year-old with a powerful avatar. As she speaks, another hunter struggles against the beast, yelling for him to stop daydreaming and help. The frustrated hunter turns to him, his face a mask of disbelief and anger. He questions Gon-hyuk's decision to smoke, only to be casually told to wait 2 minutes for him to finish. His comrade explodes in frustration, warning him that his reckless behavior will get him killed. Unfazed by the chaos, he takes a slow drag from his cigarette. With a dismissive smirk, he turns his back on his allies, questioning their urgency. Ignoring Yonsi's desperate pleas, he strides confidently toward the monstrous beast. Realizing the creature is too fast to follow, he concludes there's only one way to win. A confident grin spreads across his face as he decides to predict the monster's every move. The minotaur lets out a furious roar, its glowing red eye fixed on its new challenger. As the beast tightens its grip on its weapon, Gon-hyuk's sharp gaze waits for the perfect opening. He expertly dodges the massive axe swing, landing a devastating counterattack at the perfect moment. The beast howls in agony, reeling back from the unexpected and painful blow. A wild grin spreads across his face, clearly thrilled by the monster's pained reaction. He twists through the air, his face contorted in a crazed grin as he lands a brutal kick. The blow connects, and he inwardly scoffs at the beast for leaving itself so wide open. With a flash of his blade, he follows up with a powerful downward slash, aiming to finish the fight. He lands with a sneer, mocking his allies for struggling against such a pathetic foe. A predatory glint shines in his eyes, revealing the thrill he gets from the battlefield. But his confidence shatters as a sharp pain erupts from his back, catching him completely off guard. He grits his teeth, looking down to see the monster's arm has pierced straight through his shoulder. The minotaur's claws dig into him, its grip tightening as it reveals it was far from defeated. The beast's red eyes burn with renewed fury, its low growl promising a painful end. His companions watch in horror, their shock echoing Yonsi's desperate cry as she realizes the trap. He grits his teeth in frustration, realizing his current stats weren't enough to finish the beast off. The minotaur's glowing red eye narrows with renewed fury, its victory seemingly assured. It unleashes a deafening roar, preparing to crush the captured hunter. The beast tightens its grip, taunting him to give up and threatening his comrades. But Ganyuk uses the beast's own momentum against it, twisting free to land a brutal, decapitating strike. A system window confirms his victory, leaving his allies stunned by the sudden turn of events. The raid results flash, showing he single-handedly contributed over 80% of the damage. A flood of rewards and titles appears, confirming his overwhelming dominance in the fight. The battle won, he finally succumbs to his injuries and collapses as his worried allies rush to his side. Ignoring the pain, he forces himself to his feet, his expression hardening with grim resolve. His allies note the catastrophic damage to his knee, realizing the severity of his condition. They try to rouse him, understanding that his wounds are beyond the scope of simple healing magic. He inwardly curses his carelessness, frustrated by his miscalculation at the end of the fight. Yonsi desperately pushes through the crowd, rushing to his side. She summons a powerful ability, her hands glowing with verdant, restorative energy. A magical flower of light materializes, a unique healing spell manifesting over his injury. Green particles of light envelop his leg, slowly mending the grievous wound. She begs him to be careful, revealing her fear of facing their family at the orphanage without him. A tear escapes her eye as she pleads for him to regain consciousness. His fingers twitch in response, a subtle sign that he can still hear her. He opens his eyes and playfully chides her for worrying more about their family than him. His thoughts drift to her, remembering the sweet girl he grew up with at the orphanage. The raid leader, Park Jundae, steps forward to congratulate the exhausted hunters on their success. With the pleasantries over, he gets down to business, announcing the distribution of rewards. At his command, system windows appear before the hunters, displaying their individual shares. Ganyuk glances at his own paltry loot, a collection of common monster parts and currency. He scoffs in disgust, finding the entire distribution to be a complete farce. Confronting the raid leader, he dismisses the rewards as worthless junk being passed off as treasure. He cuts to the chase, holding out his hand and demanding the real prize, the skill coin. The system reveals the true value of his demand, a legendary coin that grants a permanent skill and is worth a fortune. The raid leader smirks as another hunter explodes with rage over Ganyuk's demand for the skill coin. He grabs Ganyuk by the collar, accusing him of swooping in at the last second just to steal the rare prize. Unfazed, Ganyuk leans in with a bizarre and demeaning question, leaving the angry hunter utterly confused. He follows up with a mocking smirk, comparing the hunter's incessant yelling to the barking of a small dog. The hunter seethes with fury at the insult as a shocked Yonsi watches the confrontation escalate. Enraged, he throws a powerful punch, determined to make Ganyuk pay for his insolence. But his fist is stopped dead in its tracks by an unseen force, caught effortlessly mid-swing. The raid leader calmly holds the punch, telling his subordinate to stand down, much to the hunter's shock. Ganyuk's eyes narrow, instantly recognizing the unique skill of the bronze giant, Park Jundae. The leader's skin has turned to bronze, and the enraged hunter winces in pain from the impact of his own failed attack. The raid leader surprisingly apologizes, admitting his greed got the better of him. He presents the legendary skill coin, which grants the powerful one-hit kill ability. Without a word, Ganyuk takes the priceless coin from the leader's hand. With the prize secured, he and Yonsi turn to leave as the enraged hunter watches them go. The furious hunter immediately confronts his leader, his anger now directed at Jundae. He violently grabs the leader's collar, questioning his sanity for giving away such a fortune. His rage boils over as another comrade tries to intervene, telling him to respect the captain. Jundae calmly tries to defuse the tension, reminding his subordinate that they're all allies. His expression turns serious, hinting there's more to his decision than meets the eye. He calmly explains it wasn't his choice, but simply a matter of following the rules. The furious hunter grits his teeth, unable to accept his leader's baffling decision. Jundae calmly adjusts his suit, delivering a stern warning to his subordinate about his reckless attitude. The enraged hunter points accusingly, vowing that Jundae's overconfidence will eventually be his undoing. His fury then shifts to Ganyuk and Yonsi, yelling at them as they walk away. Ganyuk casually cleans his ear, completely ignoring the lecture about their brutal, coin-driven world. The hunter continues his tirade, trying to scare them with grim warnings about the fate of fallen hunters. Ganyuk offers a final, dismissive gesture, showing exactly what he thinks of the unsolicited advice. A worried Yonsi asks if he's okay, concerned that his behavior will get them blacklisted from future raids. He coldly reassures her, admitting he never planned on working with those losers again anyway. With a confident smirk, he tells her that the two of them are all that's needed, leaving her utterly speechless. Yonsi blushes at his familiar, bold declaration, clearly flustered by his confidence. He calmly lights his cigarette, taking a slow drag with a detached expression. Her attention shifts to his cigarette, surprised by this new habit she's never seen before. A confident smirk plays on his lips as he exhales, completely unbothered by her surprise. He casually pats her head, delivering a flirtatious compliment that leaves her blushing and speechless. Her composure breaks as she questions his sudden and overly familiar comment. His playful demeanor vanishes as he takes another drag, his gaze turning distant and thoughtful. A tragic vision flashes, showing him holding a fatally wounded Yonsi in a desolate, ruined landscape. The memory lingers on her face, marked by a fatal injury as her life slips away. Returning to the present, his expression hardens with resolve, determined to change that tragic outcome. His thoughts turn dark, contemplating the day he might have to eliminate her, too. The memory shifts to the orphanage, where a younger boy summons his avatar, Icarus. A younger Ganyuk is playfully tossed in the air by the powerful avatar, laughing without a care. The other children join the fun, floating around despite worrying that Yonsi will disapprove. A furious Yonsi storms in, scolding them for their reckless use of powers indoors. The young Ganyuk cheekily leads the other children in teasing her. She clenches her fist in frustration, angrily reminding them of her age. She marches towards his room, determined to put a stop to his antics. The scene shifts to his room, where he prepares to check his current status. Back in the present, he reflects on his 13th regression and the centuries he spent fighting this endless war. His status screen reveals a worn soul debuff, a permanent scar from his endless fight that has pushed him beyond human limits. His expression hardens with the grim realization that this regression must be his last. An info box appears, explaining that the world's coins are divided into rainbow-colored ranks. He summons his sleek, futuristic avatar, the Observer, to analyze his options. The avatar stands ready as he contemplates the hidden potential within both hunters and their summons. Its status window reveals several locked abilities, confirming their true potential is a gamble only unlocked by spending coins. But after 13 regressions, he's no longer gambling. He knows the right answer. With a confident smirk, he prepares to invest his 82 coins, knowing exactly how to get the best return. He confirms the prompt without a second thought, dumping all 82 coins into upgrading his avatar Observer. As level-up notifications spam his screen, he smugly reflects on the 32 million won he just casually invested in his own power. His massive investment pays off as his avatar reaches level 9, unlocking a powerful new ability. With a confident smirk, he immediately begins the synchronization process with his avatar. The Observer places its hand on his chest, ready to scan and process his information. Blue energy surges as the avatar begins to connect directly with its master's very being. The avatar recoils, overwhelmed by the sheer volume of data from his 13 lifetimes. He grabs its wrist, forcing the connection and declaring they don't have time for a slow process. He commands the avatar to witness its own future by looking into his memories of past regressions. The Observer's visor flashes as it processes the impossible knowledge of timelines it has yet to experience. A blinding light bursts from his room, signaling the completion of this unprecedented power-up. A system window confirms his success, granting him the unique skill of Forced Awakening. The Observer confirms its potential has been unlocked, preparing to expand its core functions as Ganyuk watches with approval. He commands it to calculate every possible future, activating its second ability, Prediction. A surge of information overloads the avatar, its body convulsing as it processes the immense data. Ganyuk then orders it to find all hidden enemies and project them onto a map. Its third ability, Detection, activates, revealing hostile targets as red markers on a grid while the avatar strains under the pressure. The Observer reaches its limit, informing him that 5 rare Navy coins are required to unlock its final power. Satisfied with the smooth progress, he smirks, already planning his next move with the new intel. He dismisses the now upgraded avatar with a word of praise and turns to leave his room. Meanwhile, Outside the raid location, the disgruntled hunters gather in the dark, discussing how Ganhyuk took all the rewards. The furious hunter who confronted him earlier grips his axe, demanding to know why their leader let such a ridiculous person get away with it. The furious hunter declares his intent to eliminate Ganhyuk, struggling against his own allies. Another hunter nervously voices his doubts, recalling Ganhyuk's overwhelming power against the minotaur. A mysterious hooded figure dismisses this concern, claiming anyone is vulnerable to a surprise attack. His younger brother eagerly asks him to demonstrate a powerful ability called avatar predation. The hooded figure reveals his ambition to become overwhelmingly strong for the next event at the Tower of Babel. His plan involves targeting Yonsi's avatar, which possesses a rare and powerful healing skill. He also sets his sights on Ganhyuk's avatar, intending to absorb both of their unique powers. Consuming their abilities is his key to finally achieving the coveted B-rank status. But his plotting is cut short as he suddenly recoils, struck by an unseen force. Ganhyuk appears instantly, grabbing the younger hunter and leaving the hooded figure stunned by the sudden ambush. A blood-soaked blade glints in the dark, having found its mark. Ganhyuk holds the knife to his captive's throat, coldly remarking on the lack of satisfaction in the act. The younger hunter's allies watch in horror as he collapses, his name cried out in shock. But the hooded figure intercepts the attack, his hand glowing as he blocks the blade with ease. He smirks, finally identifying Ganhyuk as the rumored thief with a reputation for audacity. The man taunts him, questioning his strength while effortlessly overpowering his knife strike. In a flash, Ganhyuk neutralizes the other two hunters, sending them flying with precise, disabling blows. He activates his combat sense, twisting through the air to land a powerful kick on his stunned opponent. With unwavering confidence, he asserts his absolute dominance in human combat, leaving his foe reeling. From a distance, the raid leader Park Jundi watches in disbelief, wondering how Ganhyuk found them. The furious hunter steps forward, volunteering to deal with Ganhyuk himself. He unleashes his own terrifying avatar, the monstrous shadow beast Ungoliant. The grotesque creature lunges forward, its fangs bared and ready to strike. Ganhyuk sneers at the sight, dismissing the creature as a monster, not a true avatar. His opponent orders the beast to attack, sending it hurtling towards Ganhyuk. But Ganhyuk's gaze remains cold and steady, completely unimpressed by the threat. He calmly summons his own futuristic avatar, the Observer, to counter the assault. The Observer's visor glows, immediately activating its prediction ability. It instantly analyzes the enemy's movements, completing its calculation in a flash of data. A targeting laser locks onto his head, but he just smirks, already knowing the attack's trajectory. He easily evades the attack, unimpressed by the foe's reliance on simple speed. With impossible agility, he weaves through a flurry of strikes, anticipating every move. A taunting smirk crosses his face as he dares his enemy to try anything. The hunter's confidence shatters, his face twisting in frustration at his failed assault. He finds an opening, landing a precise and punishing blow against the shadowy beast. The creature recoils as the impact leaves a significant mark, its form wavering. He glances back with a look of pure contempt, completely in control of the fight. His foe is sent flying, utterly stunned by the speed and power of the counterattack. Before his opponent can recover, he closes the distance, delivering a final, decisive slash. The hunter cries out, the force of the blow overwhelming him completely. The raid leader looks down at the fallen hunter, wondering why Ganhyuk is even there. The hooded figure turns, cryptically answering that their motives are the same. He lunges forward, revealing he's also there to eliminate his rivals. Ganhyuk's eyes glow with cold fury as his opponent labels him a murderer. With a powerful strike, Ganhyuk sends the hooded figure flying backward. The man lands, seething with rage and vowing to end Ganhyuk's taunts. But his anger turns to confusion as he realizes something is missing. He frantically searches his person while Ganhyuk calmly watches the panic unfold. With a taunting smirk, Ganhyuk reveals a pistol he's lifted from his opponent. The hooded figure curses, baffled as to why anyone would carry a weapon useless against monsters. The hooded figure laughs in disbelief as a bullet strikes him, ordering his men to retreat. A system window confirms his master of all martial arts skill has activated, neutralizing the remaining hunters. A wicked grin spreads across his face, showing his enjoyment of the one-sided fight. The sound of the gunshot echoes through the night, a final punctuation to the swift battle. The hooded figure lies defeated on the ground, his body limp and unresponsive. Ganhyuk stands over his fallen opponents, his expression cold and detached. He pins the hooded figure to the ground with his foot, questioning his opponent's motives. Aiming the pistol, he points out that his opponent is only pretending to be down for the count. The hooded man glares up in fury, realizing he's been completely cornered. Without hesitation, he pulls the trigger, delivering a final decisive shot. Gonhyuk coolly states that his opponent should have finished the job last time. The hooded figure is revealed to be the raid leader, Park Jundae, whose bronzification skill activates in shock. He accuses Jundae of plotting to eliminate him and Yonsi, then framing a subordinate for the crime. The barrel of the gun presses firmly against Jundae's temple, his denial fading into fear. Gonhyuk mockingly questions if the man's bronze skin protects his eyes, as Jundae begs for his life. His tone turns serious as he reveals he knows Jundae is just a low-ranking member of the secret organization Giants. Jundae's face twists in disbelief, wondering how Gonhyuk could possess such classified knowledge. With a menacing glare, Gonhyuk prepares to send a chilling message back to Jundae's masters. He warns that those who sell their souls for petty rewards will meet a miserable end at the hands of the savior. Jundae is left speechless by the cryptic warning as Gonhyuk demands a response. The gunshot rings out as Jundae cries in agony, the bullet finding its mark. He stumbles backward, clutching his wounded hand while Gonhyuk stands over him, gun still raised. Unfazed by the violence, Gonhyuk calmly lights a cigarette, his face splattered with blood. Jundae writhes on the ground, his body racked with pain from the unexpected attack. Gonhyuk forcefully grabs his face, silencing his desperate cries for help. Jundae's eye widens in pure terror, reflecting the cold, merciless gaze of his captor. He presses the gun to Jundae's head, completely ignoring his pleas for mercy. Gonhyuk coldly asks what message he should deliver to the man's powerful superiors. Jundae listens in horror as Gonhyuk describes the miserable end that awaits those who sell their souls. The scene pans over the defeated hunters, delivering a final warning that the savior has no patience for small-time players. He tells Jundae to remember this moment, his face a mask of cold satisfaction. Jundae recoils in pain as Gonhyuk coldly tells him to disappear. He watches impassively as the defeated raid leader makes a hasty retreat into the darkness. With the confrontation over, he takes a calm drag from his cigarette, unfazed by the blood on his hands. A system window confirms his victory, officially labeling the defeated hunters as a notorious gang. He smirks with satisfaction as a new achievement, Soul Duel, flashes before him. His victory earns him the title Death's Edge Duelist, cementing his reputation. The scene cuts to an orc dungeon, where the aftermath of a brutal battle is on full display. An orc cries out as it's struck by a powerful unseen blow. Gonhyuk, now dressed in a suit, coolly lands a finishing blow with a bloodied bat. The last surviving orc groans, defeated and looking up at its conqueror. The terrified beast desperately surrenders, vowing to never harm another human. He looks down unimpressed as the monster bows its head, acknowledging its surrender. He offers the creature a single chance at survival, hinging on its ability to answer one simple question. With a playful smirk, he poses a bizarre riddle about a firecracker that explodes in 1 second. The monster can only stare back in utter confusion, completely baffled by the strange question. Before the creature can process the riddle, he lunges forward in a blur of motion. A system window confirms the activation of his one-hit kill skill as he lands a devastating final strike. With a blood-splattered grin, he reveals the answer to his own riddle as a system window announces the entire squad has been eliminated. He stands triumphantly over the fallen beast, surrounded by a flood of system notifications detailing his rewards. Yonsi looks on with concern, questioning his ruthless methods. He coldly dismisses her worries, stating that in this world such fates are inevitable. With the 5 Navy coins he acquired, he summons his avatar to perform a final crucial upgrade. He activates his Forced Awakening skill, unlocking the legendary ability known as Mind's Eye. A system window confirms the observer's ultimate ability has been unlocked, granting it immense new power. The avatar's visor glows brightly as it processes the overwhelming influx of new information. With a look of satisfaction, he declares that all his preparations are now complete. Yonsi reports that she's gathered the necessary items and suggests they return to their academy, but he turns to her with a serious expression, revealing they won't be going back just yet. She is left completely stunned and confused by his sudden and mysterious change of plans. He points out their unusually heavy luggage as a glowing red magic circle materializes beneath Yonsi's feet. She gasps in sudden realization as the energy surges, recognizing the teleportation spell. Gonhyuk's calm expression confirms her fears. He knew this was coming all along. Across the city, other unsuspecting hunters are ensnared by the same light, marking the Tower of Babel's great summoning. An info panel reveals this is a forced summoning, where the Demon King's tower periodically abducts awakened ones. A chosen hunter panics, desperately resisting the pull of the summoning circle. A celestial being observes the seventh summoning, selecting only hunters with the potential to defeat the Demon King. She watches the chosen ones, knowing that all of humanity's greatest heroes have been gathered this way. With a prayer, she places all her faith in this final group, believing them to be the world's last hope. A powerful red-haired warrior confidently reassures the archangel, ready to face the challenge. The warrior angel Azazel passionately vows to forge the summoned humans into the ultimate weapons. But the archangel is struck by a strange sense of déjà vu, an unsettling feeling of familiarity. Back in the dungeon, Ganhyuk's eyes glow with focus as the summoning spell takes hold. His face hardens with absolute resolve, determined to save the world this time, whatever the sacrifice. Elsewhere, Yonsi's eyes remain closed as she lies unconscious from the forced teleportation. Her eyelids flutter as she slowly begins to regain consciousness in the new, unknown location. She wakes up to find Ganhyuk by her side, calling out to him in her dazed state. Her eyes widen with confusion as she takes in the grand, unfamiliar architecture around them. He calmly informs her they've arrived inside the Tower of Babel, surrounded by a crowd of other summoned hunters. Among the crowd, a bald, imposing hunter sizes up the competition with a cold, calculating gaze. A powerful-looking hunter with prayer beads calmly assesses the other chosen ones, selected by Babel. The hall is a mix of fear and aggression, with some hunters panicking while others look on with contempt. Ganhyuk observes the tense crowd, noting the palpable hostility in the air. Yonsi questions the small number of people, recalling that the summoning was meant to be on a massive scale. She scans the room, confirming her suspicion that there are far fewer hunters than expected. He calmly explains that the others must be in different sectors, leaving her puzzled. Ganhyuk reveals the tower's structure, explaining that the population thins out on higher floors. She asks about their next move, but he confidently assures her that instructions are on their way. With a knowing smirk, he declares that the explanation is about to begin, leaving her confused. A sudden shockwave blasts through the hall, sending the unprepared hunters flying in every direction. A demonic figure descends in a swirl of purple energy, welcoming the hunters to the Tower of Babel. He introduces himself as Kresti, the Demon King's servant, smirking at their bewildered expressions. The summoned hunters stare in shock, finally realizing they're in the presence of a real demon. Kresti condescendingly offers to explain the rules of the first floor to the clueless humans. He raises a single sharp finger, preparing to lay down the first law of the tower. Holographic screens materialize before the hunters, revealing they will be ranked based on their performance. The system details a point-based scoring system for eliminating monsters of varying difficulty. He reveals that after 3 weeks, only the top 50 ranked hunters out of 200 will survive. With a sadistic grin, he promises to personally eliminate anyone who fails to make the cut. One enraged hunter refuses to be intimidated, defiantly challenging the demon's authority. The hunter points accusingly, reminding the demon that he's vastly outnumbered by the summoned humans. The demon smirks, amused by the hunter's bravado as a dark energy crackles in his hand. But before he can finish his threat, Kresti unleashes a devastating blast, striking him down instantly. The surrounding hunters watch in horror, stunned into silence by the demon's swift and merciless retaliation. Ganhyuk remains calm, recognizing the demon as Kresti, one of the Demon King's most powerful commanders. Kresti casually holds up a blue coin, revealing he's already claimed a prize from his first victim. His eyes glow with malevolent power, as he's identified as the infamous Lightning Heaven's Kresti. The fallen hunter's body convulses, a stark and brutal example of the tower's deadly rules. As the body falls, Ganhyuk examines a similar blue coin in his own hand, realizing its significance. With the other hunters still reeling, the demon prepares to announce the second, even more terrifying rule. With a sadistic grin, the demon reveals the tower's second, more brutal rule. A system window explains that death means dropping 20% of your coins, which the other hunters immediately scramble to collect. One hunter manages to snatch a valuable coin from the floor amidst the chaos. But his prize is immediately contested as another hunter pins his hand down with a foot. The bald hunter draws a dagger, threatening his new rival and demanding his coins. Kresti watches the infighting with amusement before raising his hand to announce the third rule. He declares that for the first 2 weeks, murder is forbidden in the safe zone, forcing the bald hunter to reluctantly back down. The bald hunter glares at the weaker players, his expression a clear promise of future violence. The demon's warning hangs in the air, Get strong in 2 weeks or become prey for your allies. Cruesti gloats over the scene, finding the humans' greed and betrayal a worthy spectacle. Cruesti offers a special service, his eyes glowing with malice as purple energy crackles in his hand. Yonsi cries out a warning as the demon reveals a hidden rule targeting the hunter with the most coins. She desperately tries to intervene, but the demon snaps his fingers, unleashing a powerful spell. Gonhyuk remains unfazed, his gaze fixed and intense as the purple lightning descends upon him. A massive explosion erupts from above, seemingly engulfing him in a storm of destructive energy. A worried Yonsi checks on him, but he calmly confirms he's unharmed by the attack. She looks up in confusion, wondering how he survived the demon's direct assault. An armored angel descends from the light, announcing the 4th rule that prevents celestial and demonic beings from harming humans. A flash of steel reveals the angel intercepted the demon's attack at the last second. The angel Azazel lands, chiding the demon for his methods and demanding he perform his duties with more cruelty. The demon Cruesti glares, recognizing the newly arrived angel as Azazel. He smirks with annoyance, lamenting that her arrival spoiled his fun just as things were getting interesting. His eyes glow with malice as he prepares to reveal the tower's final crucial rule. The two beings face off, representing the opposing quests and achievements offered to the hunters. It's revealed that humans are free to choose their allegiance, aligning with either the angels or the demons. Azazel issues a stern warning, telling the hunters to fight with all their might if they wish to live. Cruesti adds that the stronger the humans become, the more powerful their celestial and demonic patrons will grow. With a triumphant laugh, Azazel unleashes a wave of power, scattering the hunters to test their resolve. The angel stands bathed in a divine light, a symbol of the power awaiting those who choose her side. A desperate hunter pleads for her to revive his fallen friend, but she coldly refuses, stating it's beyond her power. The panicked hunters surround the angel, desperately demanding information on how to survive in the tower. While Azazel tries to calm the frantic crowd, Gonhyuk has already turned his back on the commotion. He calls for Yonsi to follow him, leaving her completely bewildered by his decision. She questions his actions, wondering why he's ignoring the angel's potentially vital briefing. He confidently dismisses the angel, stating that all she offers are quests, which he already understands. The scene shifts to the first floor's hunting ground, revealing a heavily fortified goblin garrison. 2 goblin guards are alerted to their presence, looking on with confusion. An alarm is raised as the goblins scramble to arm themselves for battle against the humans. Before they can react, a goblin is struck down by a swift and decisive blow. Gonhyuk stands over the defeated creature, casually resting a bloodied bat on his shoulder with a confident smirk. He smirks, telling the goblins their only purpose is to help him rack up points quickly. The enraged goblins glare back, their weapons glinting as they prepare to swarm him. He scoffs at their futile charge, dismissing the entire horde as nothing more than weaklings. He effortlessly cuts through their ranks, landing a powerful blow on the first goblin to reach him. A desperate goblin swings its weapon wildly, hoping to land a lucky hit on the overwhelming human. But he moves like a whirlwind, deflecting every attack with a single fluid motion of his bat. His playful smirk vanishes, replaced by a look of cold, focused intensity as he assesses the remaining threats. He sidesteps just in time, a projectile shattering the ground where he just stood. His eyes narrow as he spots the source of the attack, a goblin archer perched on a cliff, an annoying complication. The goblin archer stares in disbelief, stunned that any human could possess the reflexes to dodge its surprise attack. Yonsi leaps into action, bringing her weapon down on the troublesome goblin archer. She proudly announces her victory from the cliffside, holding up a frying pan as her weapon of choice. He flashes a grin of approval before turning his attention back to the remaining horde with a powerful swing. With practiced ease, he deflects a flurry of attacks, his bat a blur of motion amidst the chaos. A single, mighty blow sends one of the goblins soaring through the air, its battle cry cut short. His bat finally gives out, bent and broken from the force of his relentless assault. He casually tosses the ruined weapon aside, surveying the field of fallen goblins with disdain. Yonsi looks on in awe, remarking on his overwhelming strength, but he simply dismisses the compliment. His focus shifts immediately, urging her to hurry and collect the loot from their fallen enemies. She questions his sudden urgency as he glances at a glowing system window, his expression growing tense. He explains the first floor's layout, revealing 7 dungeons with 3 main targets. His explanation zeroes in on the sewer dungeon, revealing a crucial hidden room called Pezaron's Cradle. With a determined look, he stresses the need to reach the hidden room before their rivals. Her confusion turns to suspicion as she confronts him, demanding to know his true identity. She presses a crossbow to his back, accusing him of doing something to the man she once knew. Unfazed by the weapon, his gaze remains steady, realizing his cover is finally blown. She reveals her suspicions have been growing ever since the Minotaur dungeon incident. She recalls the kind, gentle, yet cowardly man he used to be, a stark contrast to his current self. A chilling memory of his recent ruthless personality flashes through her mind. She concludes that his cruel demeanor and impossible foresight prove he is an imposter. He meets her intense gaze, calmly awaiting her question about his true identity. With his hands raised, he tries to assure her that he's still the same person she's always known. He tests her by asking if she recalls specific memories from their shared childhood at the orphanage. A flashback reveals his younger self always causing trouble just to be near her during group photos. He reminds her of another memory where his closeness to her made another boy jealous. Despite the shared memories, she remains unconvinced, arguing that his personality has changed too much. He calmly reveals that in the Minotaur dungeon, he saw a glimpse of the future 20 years from now. He explains this phenomenon was caused by his avatar, the Observer, granting him a painful vision. The vision showed him their tragic fate after being summoned to the Tower of Babel, where they would eventually fall. He concludes that witnessing this grim future is the true reason for his sudden and drastic change. Yonsi calls out his lie, stating that the Observer lacks the power to see the future. He admits the first vision he saw was her tragic end at the hands of the Minotaur. He elaborates that the Avatar showed him this grim future for a very specific reason. He reveals it was to ensure he had the knowledge to protect her, no matter the cost. He reminds her of his long-standing promise to always keep her safe. His sincere vow leaves her blushing and completely disarmed, her doubts melting away. Overcome with emotion, she throws her arms around him in a tight embrace. As she apologizes for her doubts, his expression turns thoughtful, acknowledging her sharp intuition. He comforts her while internally admitting this is just another fabricated story to explain his changes. 2 days later, the scene shifts to the dark and foreboding sewer dungeon. Inside the dungeon, 2 cloaked ratmen with glowing red eyes lunge forward with daggers drawn. But they are cut down in an instant, their surprise attack ending in swift defeat. Yonsi looks on with disgust, questioning how much deeper they must venture into the foul sewer. Meanwhile, Ganyuk mercilessly crushes another ratman, silencing its final cry. He calmly surveys the carnage, confidently announcing they've almost reached their destination. To pinpoint their target, he summons his sleek, futuristic avatar, the Observer. He immediately activates its ultimate skill, the legendary Mind's Eye. A beam of energy shoots from the Observer, revealing a hidden passage concealed within the dungeon wall. Inside the secret room, he discovers a large, imposing statue, confirming his suspicions. Without hesitation, he reaches out and activates a hidden switch on the statue's base. A system window prompts him to spend 3 navy coins to unlock the cradle. He confirms the transaction without a second thought as the statue's sword begins to glow. A notification confirms the cradle's first floor is unlocked as a massive stone gate opens before them. Inside lies a mysterious chamber with a single glowing pedestal at its center. Yonsi admits that after everything he's done, she's no longer surprised by these impossible discoveries. He approaches a glowing stone tablet with a knowing smirk, having found exactly what he was looking for. With a confident look, he warns her that what comes next might actually manage to surprise her. A system window confirms his authorization as he places his hand on the tablet, unleashing a brilliant light. A new notification announces the shop has been unlocked as holographic cards swirl around them. The shop reveals legendary avatars like Thor and Zephyros are for sale, a secret marketplace for the truly powerful. The shop offers legendary SS rank items, including a skill book and a powerful sword, for exorbitant prices. Yonsi is stunned by the secret shop, but Ganyuk calmly identifies it as Pezaron's cradle. He explains this is a place where the rich can buy the power to become heroes. His attention is drawn to a coin exchange machine, a key part of his plan. He confidently converts his massive stash of 1,500 purple coins into 6 valuable navy coins. As the transaction completes, Yonsi watches in surprise, realizing the scale of his wealth. The system then recommends a new, compatible avatar for her, costing 5 of his newly acquired coins. She wonders if this means she can wield 2 avatars, but he quickly shuts down the idea. He clarifies that each hunter has only 1 avatar slot, which must be expanded to acquire more. As she asks how to get more slots, he abruptly tells her not to buy the recommended avatar. leaving her baffled. He dismisses the recommended avatar as trash, insisting her current one is far superior. Instead, he finds exactly what he was looking for, a rare evolution stone. He summons his own avatar, the Observer, preparing for a significant upgrade. Without hesitation, he spends the coins and confirms the purchase, initiating the evolution. A system window announces a new frontier for the Observer, as its form begins to change. The avatar ascends in a brilliant pillar of light, undergoing a powerful transformation. He recognizes the first of its potential new forms, the Farseer, a familiar sight from his past. Other powerful forms appear as options, each one a key to the legendary 12 divine seats. He bypasses them all, choosing a mysterious final option he knows intimately, the Game Master. The system confirms his choice, locking in the Game Master route and beginning the final evolution. A system window details the Game Master route, promising an ultimate ability called Authority Expansion. The avatar's eye glows with a menacing red light as the transformation intensifies. Its new form materializes, cloaked in a stylish suit and crackling with purple energy. The Avatar GM reveals its full, phantom-like appearance, a master of the game itself. The scene cuts to the deepest part of the sewer dungeon, where a powerful figure sits enthroned. The final boss is revealed as the formidable King Radis, ruler of the sewers. King Radis is alerted to their presence, a ghostly image of a past self appearing beside him. The king acknowledges that a challenger has finally reached his throne room. His spectral companion growls in anticipation, sensing the new arrivals. The massive doors burst open, revealing Gonyuk and Yonsi ready to face the final boss. King Radis scoffs at the sight of only 2 challengers, underestimating their strength. But his arrogance is shattered as a surprise attack lands squarely on his face. Gonyuk smirks, confidently challenging the enraged boss to bring the fight to him. The sewer king growls, parrying a follow-up strike with its massive blade. Gonyuk effortlessly deflects the powerful counterswing, sparks flying from the impact. The king's spectral companion channels dark energy, preparing a magical assault. Pushed back by the force, Gonyuk digs in his heels, refusing to be overwhelmed. King Radis looms over him, raising its weapon for a devastating downward strike. The boss unleashes a special attack, an unblockable flail designed to crush its target. Gonyuk's eyes narrow with focus as he prepares a precise counter to the deadly move. He narrowly evades the whip-like attack, his reflexes pushed to their absolute limit. The boss's attack collides with his weapon in a shower of sparks, the impact stunning his foe. The spectral boss acknowledges his impressive defensive maneuver with a thoughtful smirk. But it dismisses his skill, revealing a smoke grenade to change its tactics. The creature hurls the canister, which erupts in a thick cloud of disorienting gas. Yonsi calls out in alarm, her vision completely obscured by the sudden poison cloud. Gonyuk's expression hardens, recognizing this annoying and familiar attack pattern. From within the smoke, a shadowy whip-like tendril lashes out with blinding speed. The tendril strikes true, wounding his shoulder and drawing blood as he grits his teeth in pain. The spectral boss looms over him from within the gas, enjoying its momentary advantage. A system window confirms the poison is weakening him, draining his health and slowing his movements. Annoyed by the rat's cheap trick, he clutches his wound and calls out to his partner. Yonsi recognizes the blood poison and immediately prepares a countermeasure. She summons her powerful avatar, the Shrine Goddess, which materializes in a swirl of divine energy. With a confident look, she unleashes a detoxification spell to aid her companion. A magical flower blooms on his shoulder, instantly neutralizing the poison's effects. Fully recovered, he grabs a new weapon and dares the Sewer King to continue the fight. Yonsi takes aim with her crossbow, ready to create an opening for him. She fires a well-aimed shot, successfully drawing the spectral boss's attention. Seizing the opportunity, Gonyuk lands a devastating blow on the distracted creature. The spectral boss lunges forward, enraged by Gonyuk's apparent overconfidence. It roars in fury, its glowing eye fixed on its target as it closes in for the kill. But Gonyuk ignores the phantom, delivering a final crushing blow to the real King Radis. A system window confirms his one-hit kill skill has activated, officially ending the boss fight. Yonsi is amazed by their victory, while the spectral boss looks on with a mix of amusement and critique. The ghost concludes that despite their skill, they are not yet strong enough to conquer the tower. Gonyuk summons his avatar, activating its mind's eye to reveal the unseen. The Game Master avatar immediately locks onto the spectral boss, identifying it as the true Sewer King, Shamandi. With a calm expression, Gonyuk turns and addresses the ghostly figure directly. Shamandi stares back in utter disbelief, stunned that a human can perceive its spectral form. The spectral king begins to tell his story, a tale from 400 years ago when monsters first invaded his world of Pezaron. He explains how he and 6 other heroes rose to defend their home, venturing into the Tower of Babel to stop the invasion. But their efforts were in vain, as the forces of Babel proved too powerful and his comrades were completely overwhelmed. He reveals the tragic outcome. His entire world was absorbed by the tower, its fate sealed. Yonsi listens in shock, struggling to comprehend the concept of an entire world being consumed. The spectral king gestures to the defeated boss, revealing a disturbing connection between it and himself. He reveals that the monster they just fought was merely an artificial copy, a twisted imitation of his former self. Shamandi explains that all his people were transformed into monster templates, their world shattered and remade into dungeons for the tower. He warns that even after 4 centuries, this dark process of conquest has not stopped. The tower continues its endless expansion, invading and absorbing countless other worlds to fuel its ever-growing power. Yonsi realizes the terrifying implication. If they fail, their world will suffer the same fate. The spectral king confirms her worst fears, warning that Earth will be absorbed by the tower just like his world. Gonyuk cuts the grim history lesson short, deciding they've heard enough for now. A system window rewards him for uncovering the tower's secrets, granting him a new title. As a special reward, he receives a rare white coin, leaving Yonsi to wonder about its purpose. His newly evolved avatar, the Game Master, materializes to explain the coin's true value. The avatar reveals the coin's incredible function. It can be used to unlock an additional avatar slot. The Game Master immediately uses the coin, activating its permission expansion skill to add a new slot. With his avatar capacity now doubled, he confidently declares their business in the sewer is finished. As they turn to leave, the Spectral King reveals that in 4 centuries they are the first to ever perceive him. The Spectral King offers his power, vowing to help them conquer the tower. A system window prompts him to accept the A+ rank avatar, leaving Yonsi speechless. She marvels at the incredible luck of receiving such a powerful avatar for free. But Gonyuk coldly dismisses the offer, deeming the A+ rank avatar too low tier for his needs. His rejection leaves Yonsi baffled and the Spectral King utterly crushed. As they walk away, the insulted king roars in fury at the insolent human. 4 days later, the angel Azazel holds court in the first floor's village area. A mysterious cloaked figure makes their way through the crowd of assembled hunters. The hood is lowered to reveal Yonsi, her eyes filled with a new resolve. She confidently approaches the angel, ready to officially join the tower's ranking competition. The angel Azazel asks for Yonsi's name to register her for the competition. She requests to be registered anonymously, a choice the angel finds peculiar. With a slight smirk, Azazel confirms the registration is complete. The rankings update instantly, revealing an anonymous hunter has shot straight to 2nd place. Stunned by her high rank, she receives a ranker's blessing, boosting her stats. The surrounding hunters murmur in surprise, wondering about the identity of the nameless newcomer. A suspicious hunter confronts her, questioning her identity and noting her unfamiliar face. His companions join in, demanding the mysterious ranker reveal her face by taking off her hood. Panicked by the unwanted attention, she realizes her plan to remain unnoticed has completely backfired. From above, the scene reveals she is now the center of attention, surrounded by a crowd of intrigued hunters. Elsewhere, Gonyuk focuses his mind, preparing to make his grand entrance into the competition. He calmly summons his newly evolved avatar, the all-powerful Game Master. With a determined gaze, he commands his avatar to connect to the system and register his score. The Game Master activates its permission expansion skill, gaining administrative rights to the tower's network. Back in the village, a system warning flashes, alerting all the hunters to an anomaly. The crowd looks up in confusion as the system announces a ranking update through an abnormal route. On the main leaderboard, a score begins to climb at an impossibly fast rate, blurring the numbers. The hunters can only stare in disbelief as the score continues to skyrocket into the thousands. The final ranking is displayed, showing an anonymous hunter X in 1st place with an unbelievable 13,210 points. The crowd is left speechless, realizing this new player's score is higher than the next 9 rankers combined. The crowd erupts in confusion, demanding to know the identity of the mysterious player X. Even the angel Azazel and her companion question the legitimacy of the score, suspecting a system bug. But Azazel realizes the score isn't the problem. Someone has tampered with the registration system itself. Her eyes narrow as she considers the true abnormality behind this unprecedented event. She concludes the real mystery is the individual powerful enough to achieve such a feat. Elsewhere, Ganhyuk watches the chaos unfold from the shadows with a self-satisfied smirk. Yonsi uses the commotion as a chance to slip away unnoticed through the distracted crowd. Her escape is cut short as she stumbles upon a badly beaten hunter lying on the ground. She rushes to his side, alarmed by the severity of his injuries. The defeated hunter tells her to leave, believing his fate is already sealed, but she refuses to abandon him. She prepares to summon her avatar, intending to heal the fallen hunter. A telepathic warning from Ganhyuk stops her, telling her not to reveal her power in public. A bald, menacing hunter intervenes, telling her to mind her own business. He aggressively grabs her shoulder, insisting she leave the injured man alone. Thinking fast, she feigns relief and apologizes, thanking the man for his help. She cleverly asks the thug to take care of the injured hunter, claiming she's in a hurry. The bald hunter agrees with a sinister smirk, promising to take good care of him. He then delivers a vicious blow to the defenseless hunter, revealing his cruel intentions. The injured man is sent sprawling to the ground as Yonsi quickly backs away from the scene. Onlookers identify the aggressor as Igor the Thug, a hunter who has recently fallen in the rankings. Ganhyuk's voice warns her telepathically that getting involved with the thug is a bad idea. The bully continues his assault, telling her to leave since his victim is already a lost cause. With a cruel smirk, Igor declares his intention to take the fallen hunter's coins for himself. Yonsi's expression hardens, her patience clearly worn thin by the thug's actions. But before he can continue, a system window announces the activation of psychokinesis, slamming him into the ground. The thug is pinned to the cobblestones by an unseen force, stunned by the sudden retaliation. Ignoring him, she kneels and offers a glowing restorative item to the injured hunter. The magical rice ball radiates a gentle light, a promise of healing for the fallen man. Igor struggles helplessly on the ground, realizing he's completely immobilized by her powerful skill. She looks down on the pinned thug, coolly revealing it's a D-rank skill she recently acquired. She looks down on him with contempt, questioning his life choices and his inflated ego. The thug seethes with rage, utterly humiliated by her display of power. As she calmly walks away, the immobilized thug screams threats of future revenge. Meanwhile, the hunter she saved clutches the healing item, his faith in humanity seemingly restored. The magical food glows with restorative power as he expresses his gratitude for her kindness. The scene shifts to the outskirts of the first floor's hunting grounds, a quiet, wooded area. Deep within the woods stands a secluded log cabin, identified as Igor's hideout. Back at his base, a furious Igor bursts in, telling his companion to get ready for a hunt. He declares his intent to hunt down the mysterious woman, vowing to make her pay for the humiliation. But his companion stops him, asking if he's ever heard the rumors about a powerful psychokinetic user from the east. Igor angrily grabs his companion, demanding he prepare for their hunt. His rage turns to shock as he discovers his partner, Jacob, has already been taken down. A chilling realization dawns on him. If his hideout was breached, he's the true target. Elsewhere, Ganhyuk calmly observes the thug's panic on a holographic screen. He smirks with satisfaction, revealing he's the unseen force pulling the strings.